Here we are at the George Washington Carver National Monument. Let's go inside and see what's going on. This is the birthplace of George Washington Carver. This is George Washington Carver's original slave owners, Susan Carver and Moses Carver. This is George Washington Carver's house, where he grew up, Moses Carver's house. This looks like the living room. This is probably one of the bedrooms. These are two of the small gardens that George grew up working in. This is the area where George played and did his chores and fell in love with nature. Many are the tears I have shed because I would break the roots or flowers of some of my pets while removing them from the ground. And strange to say, all sorts of vegetation seemed to thrive under my touch until I was styled the plant doctor. According to George, he was too frail for field work. His guardian, Susan Carver, gave him many household chores, including drawing water from the spring, the closest drinking water for the Carver household in the 1860s. As a typical young boy, George frequently stopped to play in the water, observe the plants and animals, and enjoy time alone from other chores. George Washington Carver usually made headlines all around the country. Interesting talk by an unusual man, Dr. Carver, noted chemist Tuskegee College. George Washington Carver never actually had a lab like these. He had to use junk that many people just threw away and didn't want to use, but he found many ways to use them. People didn't know that George Washington Carver had whooping cough as a child, and it made his voice very high and pitchy. Here's an example.
Sometimes it is wise not to look for too much appreciation. The main thing is to be sure you're right and go ahead, regardless of whether people appreciate it or whether they don't. Because in time, they will appreciate it.
This is a copy of the letter George wrote of his conversion to Christianity. This is a registration to the church that he went to. And this is George's Bible that he used. This is a classroom similar to the one that George went to as a child. He also created 8 virtues that all men of color should go by. Be clean both inside and outside, who neither looks up to the rich or down on the poor, who loses if needs to be without squealing, who wins without bragging, who is always considerate of women, children, and old people, who is too brave to lie, who is too generous to cheat, who takes his share of the world and lets other people have theirs. George Washington Carver.